They tried to end my career with a lie about expenses, and they picked, of all the people in that building, the one man who keeps every receipt. I should explain that about myself. I am, by nature, a keeper of receipts. Shoebox at home, folder on my laptop, the lot. My wife finds it deeply annoying. It has never once, in 20 years, been useful. Until the Tuesday they called me into the small meeting room. There were two of them. My manager and someone from HR I'd never met, with a folder and a face like a closed door. They slid the folder across the table. Inside were my expense claims from the last several months, with certain lines highlighted in yellow. We've identified some irregularities, the HR one said, claims that don't appear to be supported. This is a serious matter. It could constitute gross misconduct. Gross misconduct. Two words that mean sacked on the spot, no payout, walked out of the building carrying a box. And I understood, sitting in that little room, exactly what was happening. The company was struggling. Everyone knew it. Redundancies were coming, and redundancies cost money. Notice, payoffs, the lot. But if they could push someone out for misconduct instead, that costs nothing. You just need an excuse. You just need to make it stick long enough that the person panics and resigns to make it go away. I was expensive. I'd been there years. I was an easy line to cross off if they could make me look like a thief. So they highlighted some claims in yellow and they said the word fraud quietly, and they watched my face, waiting for me to crumble. I didn't crumble, because every single one of those highlighted claims, every one, had a receipt, and I knew exactly where it was. Am I suspended? I asked. You're being invited to a disciplinary hearing. You'll have a week to respond. Fine, I said. I'll be there. And I went home, not to panic, to open the shoebox. Here's what a company doing this is really gambling on. They're not gambling that you're guilty. They know you're probably not. They're gambling that you can't prove you're innocent, that your records are a mess, that when they say this claim isn't supported, you'll have no way of showing that it is, and the doubt alone will be enough to make you fold and walk. They were gambling against the wrong man. I spent that week at my kitchen table with the shoebox on one side and my laptop on the other, and I built the most boring, most beautiful document of my life. Every highlighted claim in a row. Next to each one, the receipt, the date, the reason for the trip or the meal or the mileage. And next to that, the matching line on my own bank statement, showing the money leaving my account exactly when and where the claim said it had. Not one gap, not one. 4 years of a habit my wife thought was ridiculous, and every single yellow highlight had an answer sitting right beside it. And as I built it, something shifted in me. The fear turned into something colder and steadier, because I could see, page by page, that they had no case. There was no fraud. There was a man who kept his receipts, and a company that had assumed he didn't. I also, quietly, made sure I understood the process, that I had the right to be accompanied at the hearing, that the burden was on them to prove the allegation, not on me to disprove it, that if they got this wrong, it wasn't just embarrassing for them. It was actionable for me. I printed 2 copies of my folder, one for me, one for them. Then I walked into that hearing on the day, sat down across from the same 2 faces, and slid my folder across the table, the exact same way they'd slid theirs to me. They opened my folder, and I watched it happen in real time. They went through the first highlighted claim. There was the receipt. There was the bank statement. There was the date, matching to the day. Second claim, same. Third, same. Fourth. By about the 5th page, the HR one had stopped turning the pages one at a time and was just fanning through them, and the look on their face had gone from stern to something much more uncomfortable. Because every single accusation they'd brought into that room had an answer, and the answers were airtight, and there was nothing left of their case but the fact that they'd brought it at all. The hearing that was meant to end my career was over in about 20 minutes. The outcome letter, when it came, said no further action would be taken and the matter was considered closed. Careful, bloodless language for, we were completely wrong. But I wasn't quite finished because they'd tried to brand me a thief to save themselves a redundancy payment, and that doesn't just get to be closed. I raised a grievance about how the whole thing had been handled, the baseless accusation, the stress, the attempt to force me out under a false allegation. With my folder as the backbone of it, and a quiet letter from a solicitor, the conversation changed completely. I left that company a few months later, on my terms, with a settlement that was rather larger than the redundancy they'd been trying to avoid paying in the first place, and a reference that could not have been warmer. The irony was not lost on me. They tried to save money by framing me. It cost them far more than just doing the right thing ever would have. Here's the lesson. Keep your receipts, keep your emails, keep the boring paper trail that everyone tells you is a waste of time. Because one day, someone with more power than you may decide to rewrite your story, and the only thing that reliably stops them is the quiet, unglamorous proof that you were telling the truth all along. Have you ever been glad you kept something everyone told you to throw away? Drop it in the comments. And if you want more complete stories with no part twos that never come, follow the page. New story every day.